obviously a great rebounding team. Just what do you guys have to do to sort of overcome their strength in that area?
Yeah, we always emphasize it, but just putting even more focus on it. It's something when you get into rotations, that's when it gets tough. When you're mismatched, guards on bigs, bigs on guards. Just making sure we're hitting and making sure we're winning the 50-50 ball. That's what we got to focus on.
How much of a priority has that been for you? I think the 7 rebounds against Maryland had to be a career high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just more of a focus. It also helps me get it in my hands in transition, kind of push it, help the team get into more actions, not just so heavily dominated with Braden, but it just helps our team, I think, especially now that we're smaller, with TK at the 5 and other guys are boxing out more. I just got to do more of my job to go get it.
Have some of you guys had to, from last year, had to kind of recondition the way you think out there without Zach on the glass?
Definitely. I think it's Zach just cleaned up so much for us, cleaned up a lot of our mistakes, cleaned up a lot of things that he opened up for us. But it's a new team, it's a new group, and you got to play differently. So adjusting game by game, seeing what you need to do differently, and playing hard as hell while you're doing it.
You guys have played, Texas A&M is going to be another example, like a bunch of teams already, like Marquette, Penn State, highly ranked defensive teams, ranked high in terms of who they turn teams over. Just what do you feel like that's doing for this team right now and what you want to be by the end of the season?
Yeah, they've it's helped us. I think they pressure a lot, but they also hard hedge and they switch a lot of stuff. Sometimes in the Big Ten you don't see that as much, but when you play some of these SEC teams, it's what you see quite a bit. So it's definitely given us a different mindset going into each game and showed us a lot of our guards how to go against different defenses.
I mean, there's what someone like you would gain from it, and then there's what someone like CJ or Jakari would gain from it too, right? Like it's kind of starting their career with this sort of challenge. How have you seen them grow through that?
Yeah, I think it just gives them so much more experience, and it shows how ready you need to be to start the game. Because teams like this, if they start turning you over, it's like we've seen Penn State and like we've seen Marquette. Once you start turning over, it's hard to stop. So when you start the game strong, you know how to attack their defenses. It gives those guys great confidence moving forward.
Did Maryland feel like any sort of a turning point for you guys, just because that's another strong defensive team? You didn't have the same. I know they're a different team than Penn State was, but you guys seem to be able to get into what you wanted to do and dictate things better against Maryland.
Yeah, I think it's a level of just coming ready to play and coming ready to execute. I think it's not that we weren't ready to go at Penn State, it's just we weren't ready to execute. And I think when you get into a game like Maryland and we treat it like it was win or go home, it's you can't go down 0-2 in the Big Ten. So it was huge for us to go out there and execute and play our game instead of playing into their hands.
How has the kind of detail of offensive execution been thus far with a relatively new team? I mean, in terms of the physicality of the screening, the use of screenings, the movement without the ball, the pass faking, things like that.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I think that's one thing about this team. We're just going to keep getting better at it. I think we're going to keep getting better at playing with each other, whether it's setting more pin downs or whether it's setting more ball screens or Trey playing out of his short roll more. It's just this team's so versatile with how skilled we are. I think you're just going to see us continue to get better and focus on these areas.
CJ and Jakari have been a little out of rhythm the last few games, haven't guys as involved as they did early on. How's that changed you guys' offense and where the ball's ending up?
Yeah, well, Brandon's played really well. I think when he has a game like he has the other night, it's sometimes tough to find your rhythm, but when you come in and you guard and you make, that's going to help you make shots. So just making sure they're still ready, they still know the game plan, because you never know what's going to happen no matter who you play against. Somebody's got to step up.
Does Braden always know where you are in transition? It just feels like...
Yeah, we do a drill every day where I'm always talking to him where I'm trailing at, so whether it's him feeling where I'm at, whether it's us communicating to each other, me telling him where to dribble it or me telling him where I'm running, it's a good connection we have between the two.
It just looks like he doesn't have to look.
Yeah,
that was to a spot and knows you're going to be there.
It was a pretty impressive pass, the one he made where he stopped with the guy running on his right and flipped it back to me. Not many people can have the feel of knowing a guy's trailing behind you.
From a defensive standpoint, with a lineup that might be outsized quite a bit in the Big Ten, how do you think the progression has been there with, obviously you've got quicker, more athletic guys, but size-wise you have a mismatch?
Yeah, I think it's obviously way different than last year, where last year we got to outsize people and got to just push them into the paint and have Zach clean it up. But this year with smaller guys, we've gotten better at keeping things down. We've gotten better at knowing their actions and getting on top of things, and it's only going to help us move forward the more different kind of offensive schemes we see. So it's different, but it's obviously something we're going to continue getting better at, just like offense.
Was the difference really against Maryland just doing a better job keeping the ball out of the paint?
Yeah, keeping the ball out of the paint and kind of knowing. We knew Derek Queen, obviously a great player, played really well, but we still got him into tough shots and made him do what we kind of wanted him to do. Same with the other guys.
You've seen the other guy who's doing a lot of talking, doing a lot of, leading through his voice and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a priority for you specifically, kind of coming in this year, and has it come naturally?
It's something I've had to work on and keep getting better at, but it's kind of something I have to do. I think it's something that this team needs, and obviously we lose guys last year that talked to me and Braden growing up, getting better at the small things, but it's something I have to do to it's my job for this team to do that.
That was kind of Mason last year, wasn't it?
Kind of Mason, Ethan, even Zach would talk, but last year it was kind of by committee. Lance would talk, I would talk, Braden would talk, and when you lose 4 or 5 guys that all talked, and all you got to teach all new things to these new guys, people got to talk.
Cool.
Yep.